Hey guys, Ryan Dossey here, and in today's video, I'm gonna show you a strategy you might not be aware of, and that's how we're wholesaling vacant land. This just made me 35,000 bucks. Let's dive right in. So we're on our way to show you guys a vacant lot, which obviously isn't very exciting, but it made us 35,000 bucks, and I think it's a strategy worth talking about. So we did this one like kind of by accident, and all credit on this deal goes to my partner Justin Siddall on this one. I would have not done this, to be blunt. I think some of you guys might be like me, where if something's new or you haven't done it before, you might just kind of like hit the easy button. I can't tell you the number of houses I've bought that came with like large lots that I just sold and included the lot. I didn't even look at how to split it off or how that works. They call that subdividing, which I always thought was like a big in-depth process, or it was expensive or time consuming. It actually wasn't. It was really, really, really easy. We literally called county, said, this is the address. They told us, go get a survey done. And then if, it has to be X amount, long, deep, whatever, they'll give you the dimensions of how big the lot needs to be. And they literally said just to let them know where we want to split it within those requirements. I think often as like investors, we tend to not reach out to county for help. And you've got to realize like, that's their job. I think often we think like they're just there to, collect taxes and hit us with code enforcement type stuff. But in my experience, they're actually super helpful. The neat thing with this particular one for me is we actually created additional housing in this market. We went from like literally one house on this piece of land to we cut off part of the yard, selling it, making 35,000 bucks. But we're also giving somebody now another space to build housing, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So what really surprised me with this one was the lot actually sold for more than any other lots had sold for, which we weren't expecting to like set a record with comps. The other thing was it sold really fast. I was under the impression like, this is kind of like a B class area, kind of like a starter home area. I would say it's maybe a little worse than that. I was under the impression we'd list it, it would sit for months, maybe we'd sell it and make some extra money, but like at this point we kind of own it for free, so it's worth the effort, right? But we had a bidding war. Habitat for Humanity wanted it, 2 other investors wanted it, and they all kind of threw in like, hey, here's our highest and best. The other thing that's really cool with this that I wasn't anticipating, what is there to inspect? So it's cash, it's fast, it's as is. We're all on county utilities here, so no like sewer or septic or anything. They literally just have to tie in, and like we're under contract. Nothing can like change with the ground that's gonna make them not buy it. They're already planning on taking out like this old tree, clearing the lot more than we already have, but 35,000 bucks on something this easy, from the time we like listed it to getting paid, it's gonna be right at like 3 weeks for 35 grand. Did I mention it came with the house? All we did was split it off. So if you're in a market where maybe you're struggling to compete on houses, maybe you try just doing vacant residential land like this. It's really easy to market to. There's not gonna be a ton of it. For most people, it's just like extra yard to mow or maintain. I mean, this property still has a pretty decent lot, and we cut it in half and pulled this side off. Instead of just talking to you guys about how you could like theoretically find these, why don't I just show you? So this is Propstream. Here on the top left, you're gonna enter your market location. For me, that's Pensacola, Florida. We're gonna click filter, and we're gonna go down to property characteristics. Now under property types, we're looking for vacant residential land. So we're gonna type in residential, and it's this right here. Residential vacant land is what we're looking for. Now, when we click on that, we notice there's like 12,000 of these, which is quite a bit. And keep in mind, this is just anything that's zoned residential. So it could be huge, could be really small, could be waterfront, right? We don't really know. In theory, if I was going after lots like the one in this video, I would just go into that particular zip code, but I don't want to show you guys exactly what we're doing. So under residential, we would then simply take the information we've got from county on like what the minimum lot size needs to be. So for instance, let's say it was an acre, punch in 36,000, and we can see there's 1,600 properties that match that. Now, one thing I do want to note, because you're going to see some pictures on stuff like this. This is likely a new build that was just completed, where Propstream still has it listed as vacant land for some reason. So just be aware of that. Like, no data provider is ever going to be perfect, but as we look at a lot of these, like, they are indeed just random chunks of vacant land. A lot of them, are like clearly something somebody's tried to sell before, whereas a lot of these are like somebody trying to sell, like pre-sell a new build before it's actually built. So all you would really want to do is start by just looking at what matches kind of like the lot size characteristics that your county requires. Now, you'd likely want to add in here like an equity filter, same thing we do with houses, but it's not necessarily going to be as accurate. Personally, if I was doing this, I would focus just on the stuff that's owned free and clear, just to make it real and easy. We know they can sell it for, $1 if they want to. Now, something else that you might want to consider in here would be kind of like this deal we did. You might be looking at properties that are houses that are simply on larger pieces of land, looking for something that you could like subdivide off. In this instance, there's 4,900 properties that are on an acre or more. You definitely want to narrow down more than that. One of the things I mentioned was like small houses. So maybe you do something houses, smaller than 800 square feet. There's 68 properties that are under 800 square feet that are on an acre that could be a really good candidate for like a scrape and build or a tear down subdivide type of a play. So realistically, like step by step, that's how you would go about identifying opportunities like this in your own market. Now, we did have to do some work to get it into this shape, but we expensed all of the work on this lot to this house next door that we've sold as a flip. So this property had an old, dilapidated, like super sketchy house on it that we demoed, had to haul away. There was some tree work we had to clean up from the hurricane. So all in all, like we probably spent right at about 35 grand on this land, but the expenses for that were accounted for in that property. So the 35K we're making on this is just pure profit on top of that flip. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you enjoyed a little bit of the insight on how we flipped this piece of vacant land. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. We'll talk to you guys next time.